His call is now being recorded.
Please stop. Chapter 4, Zipper Nose and Bubba.
All right. I'm no good at hiding my feelings. My mother says I would never make a good poker player, whatever that means.
Bad first day?
She said as soon as she spotted me. I slumped onto the sofa.
Worst first day ever.
She whistled.
That is bad. What happened? I don't know. Lots. It's hard to explain.
She sat down beside me, and she patted my knee.
Give it a try.
I took a deep breath.
Well, it's all about being a fourth grader now. You know, rat. Third grade angels, fourth grade rats. So I'm not an angel anymore.
She snapped her fingers.
Golly gee, you could have fooled me. You're not funny, Mom. That's your opinion. I happen to think I'm quite funny.
I glared at her.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't think it was so funny if you were the fourth grade and everybody was giving you a hard time. Life isn't as simple as it was in the old days, you know. I got problems.
Her grin disappeared. Her eyes changed. She stroked my hair.
Yeah, I guess you do. Tell you what.
She squeezed my leg.
I think it's time for a bath. Yeah,
I said.
I think so too.
I dragged myself upstairs. When I was a baby, I had upset stomachs a lot. It made me pretty cranky.
You were not a ton of fun to be with.
My mother says. But she discovered something that helped. A bath. The warm water would have a good effect on me. I would stop crying. I would calm down. Sometimes she would pour in bubble bath. Pretty soon I'd be laughing and splashing. Suds were flying. My mother says each time a bubble burst on my face, it made a freckle. She says suds gave me my curly hair too. One thing's for sure, suds gave me my name. I stopped having upset stomachs by the time I was 2, but I never stopped liking a warm bath. It doesn't matter what time of day or night it is. If I'm sad or ticked off or wound up about something, I usually feel better if I head for the water. Well, that's what she meant when she told me to take a bath. 5 minutes later, there I was in the tub with my tugboat and my dinosaur. I guess even I had to admit I was getting a little too old for toys in the bathtub, but I still like them. They've been with me as long as I can remember. What was I supposed to do? All of a sudden just hate them? Throw them away? I started thinking about my life, the important things, my Disney World t-shirt, my bike, my Klondike bars, yum yum, my Matchbox car collection, Heavenly Hash ice cream, sliding boards, Spider-Man, Winky, my one-eyed teddy bear, my oldest friend in the world. I tried to picture life without them, and I couldn't. I always thought when you grew up, stuff like bikes and bubblegum just sort of disappeared from your life. You didn't want them anymore. They got replaced by cars and coffee and all. I never thought you'd actually have to give them up, whether you were ready to or not. I thought growing up was just something that happened. You just sort of went along for the ride. But if Joey was right, growing up didn't just happen to you. You had to work at it. And that, according to Joey, meant being a rat. For the first time in my life, I wanted to slow down. I didn't care if I ever had another birthday as long as I could keep my one-eyed teddy bear. My brain was sore from all this thinking. I ran the faucet some more. I let myself sink into the water. The lower I sank, the better I felt. It was like I could feel time slowing down. Feel it stopping, going backwards. Back to third grade angels, second grade cats, first grade babies, little yellow tugboats, boats, bobbing in the water, bobbing, bobbing. Then my mother's voice.
Sudsy, dinner time.
As soon as I sat down to dinner, Zipper Nose, otherwise known as my sister Amy, sneered at me.
Rat.
She didn't stop there. She puckered her mouth and raised her upper lip, baring her two front teeth. I had to admit, it was a good imitation.
Rat, rat, rat.
She went on. My mother plopped some mashed potatoes on her plate.
Amy, stop.
It was too late. Baby brother Bubba was already baring his little fangs and going.
What?
He doesn't really say his R's right yet,
Bubba, you too.
snapped my mother. Right, Mom. Now, Zipper Nose was nibbling like a rat on a slice of bread. And now Bubba was nibbling like a rat on his hot dog. And now my mother was standing and slamming a serving spoon down on the table.
I said stop.
She glared at my father.
Elmore.
My father looked up from his plate.
Stop.
He said, went back to his eating. My mother was pretty laid back, but compared to my father, she's a nervous wreck. My mother sat back down.
Mom,
Whined Zipper Nose.
I can't help it. He's a rat now. I'm just treating him like the dirty, rotten, slimy rat that he is. Whack, whack, whack.
Said Bubba.
Enough.
Commanded my mom.
Amy, another word from you and you can leave this table.
Zipper Nose's words stopped, but not her faces. She kept baring her front teeth and nibbling on her food.
All right.
Said Mom.
Upstairs.
Zipper Nose screeched.
Mom, I didn't see anything. You're making faces. You said not another word. You didn't say not another face. I am saying it now. Your dinner is over. Leave the table upstairs to your room. Close the door. Good night. Uh-oh.
Zipper Nose stomped off. Before she ran upstairs, she yelled back.
Rodents.
Bubba echoed.
Rodents.
Then he started laughing. When Bubba laughs and eats at the same time, he becomes a midget volcano. Pieces of mashed potato and hot dog were flying everywhere. I slammed my fork down
I'm out of here.
and I stomped off. My mother called.
Suds here.
I didn't say no, like Joey told me. But I didn't say yes either. I just kept going.
In today's final chapter, you're not funny. Please quit playing in your desk.
Later, my mother cornered me in my room.
Okay.
She said,
Is this how dinner is going to be every day? A madhouse? It's not my fault.
I told her.
All I did was get promoted to 4th grade.
My mother sat on the bed.
Sudsy, maybe you're taking this too seriously. It's just a school kid's rhyme, you know. I'm sure it'll pass over in a day or two. Sure.
I sneered.
Tell that to all the kids at school calling me a rat. Tell it to Zipper Nose. Tell it to Joey. What does Joey have to do with all this?
I laughed.
He loves it. He's glad he's a rat. He says it's nature's way. He says it's a step up to be a...
She chuckled.
The way to a man is through a rat? Huh? I keep telling you it's not funny. You're right.
She said. She spanked her own hand.
There. Bad mom. That'll teach me.
I glared at her.
You can forget it if you're trying to make me laugh. It is not working.
She pretended to pout.
Darn. Okay. No more funny stuff. You're miserable, and that's that, right? Right. That didn't help? Yeah, it did. So I had to get out of it.
She snapped her fingers.
All right. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to call the school and pull you out of there. We're going to hire a tutor to come in, and she's going to teach you. She can sit on the toilet while you're in the tub, and we'll serve you meals in there. And after a couple of months, you should be shriveled down to the size of a frog.
I pointed at the door.
Bob, out. Or maybe we could put wheels on the bathtub and roll you to school every day. We could, Bob!
She shut up. She stood. She was biting her lip to keep from cracking up at her own hilarious self. She took a deep breath. She put her hand on my shoulder.
Tell you what, there's more than one way to become a man. What's that?
I said.
Go sweep the sidewalk. You'll be a man in no time.
She looked at me. I looked at her. Joey's voice hissed in my ear.
Say no to your mom.
Joey's voice was no match for my mother's look. I got the broom, went outside, and I swept the sidewalk. My father had just cut the grass. He was putting the mower back in the garage. His weights were in the corner. They were covered with dust.
Stop, please. Dad,
I said.
do you still lift your weights? Haven't for a couple of years now.
He said.
Saving them for you and Bubba. Did they help you become a man?
He looked at them.
Oh, I don't know. I guess they helped me look like one. Can I see your muscles?
He wheeled the mower into its place. He laughed.
You haven't asked me that in a long time. You used to ask me that every day.
I lifted his arm to get him started.
Well, come on. Let me see.
He put his hand behind his head and made the muscle. It looked like a baseball in there, or even a softball.
Make it bounce.
I told him, and he made it bounce. He reached up and touched it. It was smooth and round and hard like wood.
Pull me up.
I said.
Like you used to.
He lowered his arm a little.
I don't know if I still can. You're not such a shrimp anymore, you know.
I grabbed on with both hands.
Hoist away.
His arm started to crank up. My legs got straight, and I was on tiptoes. Then I was off the ground. I hung there for a couple seconds. Then he let me down. He went back out. He closed the garage door. I asked him if he used to take a lunchbox to school when he was in 4th grade. He thought, and then he nodded.
Yeah, I did. Did it have anything on the outside of it? No. It was one of those old-fashioned ones like Grandpa took to work. I wanted one just like his. No animals on it, huh? Elephants, nothing.
He shook his head.
No, afraid not. It was black, about as dull as a lunchbox gets.
He opened the front door.
How about swings, Dad? Did you ever kick a little kid out of a swing?
He stopped and he looked at me kind of funny.
Where did that question come from? Somebody kick you out of a swing? Oh, no.
I said, heading inside.
Just wondering.
When I pulled down my bed cover that night, I found a mouse trap on my pillow.
Oh, that is so not right.
Dad thought we had a mouse once. It was set with a little piece of cheese. I tripped it with a pencil. It snapped like a cap pistol and flipped halfway up to the ceiling. I grabbed the trap, charged down the hall to Zippernose's room, yanked open her door, and rifled the trap into the dark, right about where she should be lying in her bed. The phone rang. I didn't bother with the squawks coming from Zippernose's room. I picked up the phone. A voice whispered,
Did you say no to your mom? Chapter 6 is tomorrow. Joey becomes a man. We will see you in a half hour-ish or so.
oh, okay. See you shortly.